Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ayna. The title of the video is Plan to Invest More than 60 billion for semiconductors. Right, pretty much, basically another step forward of the fourth industrial revolution leading towards the MOTB, right, and the global elites master plan of mass global control, right? This is Matthew 16:1. It says the Pharisees, also the Sadducees, came and tempting, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. So let me grab this. So I was shy speaking. It says, he answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. In the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. It says, O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? It says, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall be no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. Right. So basically, the prophets are here to tell you exactly what's going on. We are the mouthpiece of the Lord, and Lord willing, we remain, as the hopeful elect, and we endure into the end. Right, because many are called, but a few are chosen. Right, so those of us that are called into this ministry to be teachers, prophets, apostles, helps, and whatnot, we give diligence, to make our calling and election sure by doing whatever we can. Right, Lord willing, we remain. So the fact is that can you not discern the signs of the times? Do you not know what age and time period you're living in? We're living in a time period of the end, basically. The end has manifested itself, and with that, the last end time prophecies. That would be the MOTB, Jacob's trouble, and World War III. So all these things are upon us, right? And Esau is going to move with great wrath because him knowing that he has but a short time, he's going to move with great wrath. So he has to issue out that MOTB, right, and bring in this Jacob trouble, which will be trouble for the whole world, actually, to bring in that order out of chaos. All right. So we're keeping our eyes on these things as well, right? Yes, World War III is heating up, right? People are talking about it, but just like Elder Pastor Hart has always said, that MOTB, needs to come first. And plus, a lot of brothers say also, to add on to his point, how can the MOTB be issued if we're all dead because of World War III, right? So obviously, the MOTB has to come. So that's the time we're living in. I want to grab this. It's cryptogon.com. It says Texas Instruments will invest over 60 billion to manufacture foundational semiconductors in the U.S. Foundational semiconductors in the U.S. All right, and these semiconductors go into basically these chips. Right. Ultimately, these chips are going to be used to be put into like the robots and things that they're working on now. Any electronic devices. Ultimately, they got the attack dogs, the robot dogs, the actual robots, the whole body robots. You have Elon Musk working on brain chip implants and things like that with Neuralink. Right. So investing 6 billion shows you that they're still pursuing their agenda and their goals. Even with everything happening in the world, it's not the end yet. You see World War III about to happen. Jacob, the northern tribes are kind of afraid of what's happening right now, but these are the beginning of sorrows, and they must continue. Right, the end is not yet. So it said you won't read this in the press release, but my guess is that plans for the upcoming battalions, fleets, and swarms of Terminator robots call for made in USA silicon. Right? Because ultimately, like I said, They need a order out of chaos, and they're going to send forth those many robots and things to police the streets, right? Want to grab this precept right here real quick on that. So this is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. It says, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee," right, which goes into the unbelief. It says, "For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness." It says, "Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, said the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous blood cry unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore, said the Lord Yahweh, Bashmi Yahushai, and who's the ones that says complaining? Let the scripture say, mark them that sigh and cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Right, so the elect now is crying out because of the wickedness of course, our own people, and of course the oppressors, the rest of the heathen nations. It says, and therefore, said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Slack you one second. Right, pursuant to Matthew 24, around verse 30, Yahushua is going to beam up with his elect, with his spaceships, the chariots of the Lord, on his return. It says that I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues, right? America, Babylon, the Great, as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So America will be utterly and completely destroyed. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plagues and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fell through the blasting and hell, and with a fearful constellation. Right, so ultimately, this is talking about the nuclear missiles hitting this place, and the bosom of fire being sweeping across this place. From the nuclear blast. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. There shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings, no princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in the power. A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." So, these chips will also be used to bring in this order out of chaos event, martial law, civil unrest, and things like that, right? Will be happening in the streets in the world, and they're going to use these different robots to police it and bring in some type of order eventually, So it says Texas Instruments today announced its plans to invest more than $60 billion across 7 U.S. semiconductor fabs, making this the largest investment in foundational semiconductor manufacturing in U.S. history. It says, working with the Trump administration and building on the company's nearly 100-year legacy. So they're working with the Trump administration, right? And Trump is working with Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is working on Neuralink, right? And trying to put the chip into the brain. It says, working with the Trump administration and building on the company's nearly 100-year legacy, Texas Instruments is expanding its U.S. manufacturing capacity to supply the growing need for semiconductors that will advance critical uh, innovations from vehicles to smartphones to data centers. Right, what they're not telling you is what they're also going to use it for, which is the MOTB, right, to track everyone on planet Earth. If they could get that far. So this is pretty much going into it, looking at it. So I did some research on it. I said, does Texas Instruments make micro semiconductors? Because you're going to need really small chips, to fit into these MOT devices that they want to implant into your skin. It says yes. AI overview says yes. Texas Instruments is a major manufacturer of semiconductor chips, including those categorized as microcontrollers and embedded processors, right? So embedded, they want to embed, right, the chip up on your skin or in your brain, So they focus on developing analog and embedded processing chips, which are fundamental components in various electronic devices, right? So they, and they're not going to say, yeah, it's going to be an MOTB, they're going to give everybody, it's going to cause you to buy and sell with it. Look up the word embedded meaning right here. It says fixed firmly and deeply in a surrounding mass, kind of like where they want to put it in your hand. And you can look up palm tape and things like that. That's what they have now, and that chip is already embedded in the mass of your hand there in that little area right there between your thumb and your pointy finger, right? Some would say index finger, whatever, right? It says. So yeah, that's pretty much what it's talking about. I looked up this micro semiconductor. A micro semiconductor refers to a semiconductor device that has been miniaturized to the micro scale, often integrated into layers, larger systems like microchips or microelectronics. These tiny components are crucial for various electronic devices, including the MOTB. It says playing a role in processing information and controlling electrical signals. Right. So this is the same, things that they're going to be using for their fourth industrial revolution, leading to their digital age and ultimately leading to their MOTB. And that's why they're investing $60 billion into this thing, right? And they're going to continue to invest more and more because what? It goes into the MOTB. We have here, Revelations 13:16. It says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. Right? So this is going to the MOTB, the device that everyone will need to take, and you will have to buy and sell with this mark. So let's get these words here, because they use choice words with these semiconductors. So we got the word karate right here. I believe it's connected to my other thing, so I'm not going to play it. So it's a stamp imprinted mark, right? It says of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of Antichrist, which there are many Antichrists, right? It says the mark branded upon horses, then carved sculpture given work of idolatrous image, right? So this is a physical thing that will be imprinted, embedded, or cut into your hand or your forehead, right? So we want to grab this also over here. Read this again. Revelation 13:18, it says, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and his number is 636. Right? And we're going to get that down here. Let's go down to chai side stigma. Right? And you see chai side stigma. This is that word, that 666. And ultimately, this goes into the MOTB as well, right? This is the number of Esau, Edom. Right? So let's get that stigma here in Galatians. So this is Galatians 6 and 17. It says, "From henceforth let no man trouble thee, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Yahushua." You get that word marks here. And it goes into the word we were just looking at already. So Esau, stigma. Stigma says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of the master, or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. Right, and in a sense, you even have individuals today that are willingly taking this chip, because you can buy the chip now. It's not being forced on the masses yet, but this is a thing print, pricked into the skin, cut into the skin, right, or embedded into the skin. Kind of like how these semiconductors are talking about, they need to be embedded, somewhere, right? So anyway, that's that. Just going into it, they're investing $60 billion for this semiconductors, which these semiconductors would eventually be used ultimately for the fourth industrial revolution, which is going to the digital age, right, and ultimately the MOTD, right, which is the mark of the beast. So, Lord, when you edify from the lesson, I'll say Shalom to the elect, which consists of men, women, and children, Shalom.